Okay, my dear students, now we are back to our new session, history. In previous sessions, we discussed the rise and spread of Christianity. Then after, in second lesson, rise and spread of Islam, and third lesson we discussed the Delhi Sultanate. So, all of you take the third lesson. In third lesson, we discussed the Turkish conquest of North India. Muhammad Ghori's invasions. You had come to know he has invaded India 17 times, and after that, establishment of Delhi Sultanate. Then Mamluk dynasty. Mamluk means a slave dynasty. Why do we call a Mamluk dynasty or a slave dynasty? Because Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave of Muhammad Ghori. That is why we call slave dynasty. After Qutbuddin Aibak, next person was Iltutmish. Iltutmish was a able and efficient ruler. After Iltutmish, Razia Sultana. Then after Razia Sultana, new dynasty. Razia Sultana, then Ghiyasuddin Balban. After that, Khalji dynasty. Then Khalji dynasty was established by Jalaluddin. But Jalaluddin was killed by his own nephew, Alauddin Khalji. But there we can see, so Alauddin Khalji was a most efficient ruler in Khalji dynasty, though he killed his uncle. And after this, Alauddin Khalji, next dynasty comes, that is a Tughlaq dynasty. In Tughlaq dynasty, there is one great king, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. This Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a very efficient ruler, and he wants to introduce or make new plans in his kingdom. But what has happened? This was not in a proper time. That is why all the plans, efficient plans, which he made was a failure. That is why Indian history called Muhammad bin Tughlaq as a foolish king. Wise foolish king. His main rules was main changes was shift of capital, that made him a great loss. Then a combines, that also gave him a great financial loss. Then a taxation, then token currency, then these all the things. Then after that, another ruler, that is Firoz Tughlaq. His time period was 1351 to 1388. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was succeeded by his cousin Firoz Tughlaq. Firoz could neither suppress revolt nor win back the provinces that had broken away. That is his weakness. He could not win over his enemy, and same time he could not regain his broken parts of his kingdom. He inherited an empty treasury. What was his main problem with him? There was no money. He was a poor king. His treasury was empty because of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And the nobles had turned hostile. And to win over the nobles, Firoz made the post and land right of civil and army officials hereditary. These nobles, they become against the king, and in order to win over them, what he did he put their post as a hereditary one. First father, then son, then it goes to his family members, like that. And to please the ulemas means who is that? It is a Muslim religious head, Muslim scholars, those who are teaching Quran, we can say so. He imposed the jizya, a special tax to be paid by non-Muslim. Always we can see, so what is it? The religious leaders, they are very much favor to their own kingdom. No, their own religion, like Orthodox ones. So, whenever the rulers take a favor of their religion, some action, then they will be get pleased much, and they will support blindly to them. If that ruler, that particular time of ruler is persecuting another religion, then of course they are also will give a blind support to them. Why? Because of their orthodox mentality. A special tax to be paid by non-Muslims, and that is why he who our Firoz made introduce the tax, that is jizya, and some of the great kings what they do, they abolished even jizya from their kingdom. And reforms, Firoz wrote of a number of loans. He gave, wrote off, avoided a number of loans, abolished certain taxes, and reduced the rate of land revenue. Even he reduced the land revenue. And he promoted agriculture by ordering the digging of wells and construction of irrigation canals like the Yamuna canal. However, he imposed a tax on the use of irrigation water from state canal. He made he constructed canal, well, and that all in order to promote agriculture. Though he made it, but he collected the taxes, water tax. Commerce improved as Firoz removed taxes on the movement of goods. Since when he removed the taxes for removal movement of goods, that means business flourished. The condition of the artisans improved with the establishment of karkhanas or workshop. Free medical care was given to the poor. That also, in one way we can see. So he was a very good king. Whatever he did, all was on favor of common people. But something he did that was against the will of a good kingdom, like Jizya. Firoz as a builder, and Firoz built many towns such as Juanpur and Firozpur. These towns laid hospital, libraries, mosques and palaces. Firoz had two Ashokan pillars brought from Kishrabad and Meerut to decorate his fort called Firoz Shah, now in Delhi. He brought two of the Ashoka pillars. And why did he brought it? Because he want to decorate his palace. So, patron of learning. Firoz built madrasas to promote learning. He had many Sanskrit texts translated into Persian. After Firoz's death in 1388, the Sultanate rapidly declined. Many states broke away. Now, let us see. Next one is Timur's invasion. Okay, dear students, we will learn Timur's invasion in next lesson. Next lesson. So have a nice day. Take care. Thank you.